Hello. Hello, guys. How are you? Welcome to the last community call of the year of Kleros Community Call Christmas edition. How are you, Jean?
I'm doing great. I did not expect the
You,
hat. I thought it
this
was a
is
filter at first, but this is a real
you
one,
go,
right?
it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and I think that in these days you need to do anything for catching the attention of social media. So I said, why not? I mean, and yeah, I think that let's see. We will try to see if it works. Otherwise, we will change for next one. We will change the strategy. So, but yeah, how is everything there?
Yeah, doing good. I'm thinking about the memes. I think we will have lots of lots of good memes already.
It's all
Yeah.
about engagement, Gene. That's what we learned doing Kleros over the years. So all good. Football. We tried football. Now we did try. Santa Claus. So yeah. So
Well,
what
last
do you
week
have? Yeah,
we had the
yeah.
State of the Union, so we kind of did like a simulation of a republic that's becoming actually a republic. So
We are
uh,
becoming a republic step by step. So for people who were not last week, we actually did a presentation. I did a presentation about things that happened over the 2025. We discussed a bit about the research news. We talked about conference we did in King's College in April with the AI Institute. We discussed a bit about the Oxford agreement we have for funding PhD studies at Oxford. We mentioned also a bit the work we are doing with Stanford at the Blockchain Journal of Law and Policy that we are sponsoring with the Ethereum Foundation. We mentioned also the news that we have from development perspective. As everyone knows, the main work we are doing currently is the work about V2, Kleros 2.0, that we have been developing over the years. And now it's almost ready to be deployed. We are doing our smart contract auditing work with Certora, which is an excellent auditing firm. And we are also counting on the support of Arbitrum, who is also sponsoring our work with Certora. So that's main thing. And then lots of development work regarding the I would say rebuilding the Kleros stack from the prehistoric version 1 when we started to a much more modern stack with lots of improvements in terms of user friendliness, reliability. Kleros 2.0 also comes with lots of improvements about decision making logics and things that we have discussed. I mean, I don't want to repeat what they said last week. So we also mentioned a bit about that. We also mentioned about integrations work, all the work we are doing with companies, governments, about Kleros Enterprise that is taking a lot of traction. We also mentioned how we are approaching marketing. Well, you can see that we are like all out, for marketing, whatever works for engagement. So we are a bit restructuring the marketing and communications team. You have seen more videos, you have seen more work in different social channels that we were not targeting as much in the past, like Instagram, TikTok. And I explained also a bit what is coming for next year. Maybe it's Federico dancing on TikTok, Federico stopping penalties at a football tournament. Whatever is good for us. You could have a Kleros jury decide if this is a good enough dance or not. You could have a Kleros jury decide if some play in a football game is a penalty or not. I mean, this sounds a bit like a joke, but we have actually a fellowship participant who is researching how to use Kleros as a kind of VAR tool for FIFA and football decisions. So I mean, lots of these things coming next year. I don't know, Jim. Anything from you, like a message about last year and what's coming in the future?
Yeah, I think we are doing a lot more video content, as Federico said, and we have been discussing actually the last couple of days and weeks about how to get more enterprise clients, because that's kind of some audience that we did not specifically target before, and that we are, of course, we have like the biz dev outreach, but we created already a page for Kleros Enterprise on LinkedIn, and I would like you all to follow it, because we will be posting more content on it. But also we will be creating more material targeted specifically to enterprise. And of course, the other part is the general public, and that's where these more fun things will be posted. So, yeah.
It's also it's funny, you know, to see people, you know that were in crypto Twitter before, you know, bashing on LinkedIn, you know, and now putting again a profile on LinkedIn, as you know, all of the industry seems to be turning towards the enterprise.
Putting the shirt,
yeah,
the shirt and the suit back.
Suit, you know, a tie, you know. I mean, very soon, you know, I might start doing, you know, the community calls with a suit and a tie. So why not? Yeah. Okay, so we'll see. Next year seems to be the year of adoption of crypto by institutions. Seems to be the year of pragmatism from the industry, of practicality, addressing the real world problems. I think that we will still have the infinite garden, I'm sure of, but we will need to mix that with also like a real world adoption. Okay, so today we have a special presentation that is going to be done by Fortunato. Fortunato is our lead of curation products, and so he will explain and present a bit of what happened last year, which I always say, you know, curation is a really cool use case of Kleros that can be used for certifications and for like fraud prevention, but it's like not you know, the most like sexy one. But one of the things that we will do for 2026 is we will turn curation into a sexy, you know, product. So let's make curation sexy. So yeah, please, Fortunato, go ahead. Yeah, I'll leave him on the screen alone. So.
Hey, thank you, Federico, and really nice hat. I definitely like it. So welcome everyone. Probably you already saw my presentation in past when I give update about the new improvements of Curate or the monthly updates. So for today, as Federico mentioned, I will go and give you take about 5 minutes to give you a recap of Curate in 2025. So the main focus this year has been on Scout, which is our flagship product, where we collect contract metadata that then we share with partners. As Jean and Federico were discussing earlier, right now we're putting a lot of effort into Core V2. So all the apps that you saw on Kleros V1 that now we are working on making them better with a better user experience, more features on V2. And Scout is an app that is designed to also transfer from being right now, it works by being plugged into V2. And in 2026, this will keep working, but being plugged into V2. Sorry, now it's plugged into V1, and in 2026 will be plugged into V2. So our effort has been put into it in order to have it working for when V2 will be ready. So in terms of results, we had some incremental partnership. As you know, it's been more than a year that we partner with Etherscan, and they are also increasing, adding support for Solana. So we also started supporting Solana, and the same goes with MetaMask. Actually, we have Solana support also for them. And for MetaMask, we also added a better in-app experience. We updated the subgraph. We will see later in the technical part, and also the compatibility with delegation with delegation contracts. Talking about new partnership, we also onboarded new block explorer. One of those is Block Scout, and this is quite an important integration for us. On one hand, because with Etherscan, they represent roughly 90% of Block Explorer traffic. So if you want to promote your project and you want your name to be displayed to 90% of the user checking information, looking for information, if you put it on Scout, 90% of the user will see your contract tagged with a full name instead of just a bunch of numbers. The second important point of the Block Scout integration is that they use a dedicated API. So we share our data in a smoother and more optimized way. But also regarding these, we will come back a bit later. We also have a partnership with OtterScan, which is a great project of a completely open source Block Explorer. So you can go on GitHub, download it, fork it, you can host it in local hosting on your VPS. So it's a great project and it was really great working with them. So if you're going to host OtterScan, you will directly get data also from Kleros Scout. And the last one, this is quite recent with RootScan, which is a project that they also integrate information from Kleros and they have a sort of white label Block Explorer. So they provide third party with ready to use Block Explorer. Going very quick regarding numbers on Scout, we were able to increase the number of monthly submission on Scout, I would say more than doubling in average. And we also had a peak last week, actually 2 weeks ago, of 300 entries in 1 week. This data is important for us because that's the reason why we keep incentivizing this submission. For those of you who do not know, we actively put incentives. So if you submit items into Scout, you will be rewarded for that. So check our website because this is a great option both to contribute to the ecosystem, but also for you to earn. And you will be rewarded in PNK, so you can still use them to stake and also be a juror and be involved at 360 degrees into the Kleros ecosystem. So join and contribute to make this number grow because they also allow us to get more partnerships. One interesting data, it's also that the platform is extremely active. We have a lot of activity every day, which compared to previous year, we had a lot of days where there was not much activity on the platform. And this is great. Also, still thanks to you, to users who contribute. And we, thanks to this increased activity, we also had a lot of, we improved a lot the product because we got more feedback. A lot of improvement have been done for the policy, so they are more specific. We always discuss if court is more common law or civil law, and in this case, we say that maybe it's a bit like halfway. So we get more cases, and if there are rulings that can give us more feedback to improve the policies, we proceed to update them and, of course, discussing them with the users. We also updated the incentives. We included more chains, for example. We updated the way we calculate the rewards. And also an update that the community really liked was that we reduced the submission risk. So now, if you want to contribute to Scout, you don't just get rewarded, but you also risk less. And the last one that probably it's the most important is related to the user experience improvement. As you know, we want everyone to be able to use Scout in specifically, and the objective is that probably if you are following this community call, you are already familiar with the Kleros ecosystem, with curation, with escrow, enterprise, court. But we want it to be easy to use also for those users who are not familiar with it. Let's say you just launched a new project in Web3. You just want to tag your contracts. You can go on Scout. You can place a small deposit, and if when your contact goes through, you get your deposit back. That's all you need to know. This is how the way we are designing Scout 2.0. And previous week, we ended the beta testing. We will implement the feedback that you gave to us, and probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, we will release it to the public to use and interact. As I said, the goal was to have everything in one place and to simplify the user experience. And this has been done adding plenty of new features. So something that was really appreciated by the beta tester was the My Activity page. So right now, after placing a submission, you can see the history. You can see how many items you submitted. You can see the one that have been challenged, the one that have been included. And this is way better in terms of user experience because you can keep track. After submitting an item, you can have a confirmation that that item is now in your page. And on top of that, we added a easier navigation list view. We added exporting with CSV, so you can check items with AIs, plenty of new features. We also had a dedicated call a few weeks ago, and there's the recording, and you can check there. What I mentioned earlier is that we will keep updating this platform. So if you start using it and you have feedback, please share with us because we want to keep it always up to date. So all of this was just related to Scout, so one specific use case of Curate, but looking at the bigger picture, so the whole curation, we had a lot of activity this year. So in the span of 4 years, between 2021 and 2024, we had 272 cases on curation court. Just this year, in 2025, we had 232, and still counting because we have about a little less than 2 weeks before 2025 ends, and there's still room for more disputes. And yeah, disputes this year account for 46% of the total dispute. Just in 2025, 46% of disputes. And of course, more activity in court means that we have also more jurors that are staking in court. So in all gnosis, 34% of the staked PNK are on curation court. Moving to the product improvement part related to Curate, we improved the way we handle our subgraph. So now we have more reliability. If you followed us, you see that sometimes there were some issues. Now we have a better infrastructure with more fallback. So if some of our providers has an issue, we have a way to we use another one. So we have a better subgraph infrastructure. We improved the CEO. Updating the list after field creation. Was a very interesting update because before lists were static. So after creating a list, you could not change the fields. And we tested this year the possibility of adding new fields. So if you want to add more information in the list you created, now you can do that. And we improved the documentation on Kleros docs and the way we handle the list updates. Also, we made the specific update for Seer, that it's one of the use cases of curation where, Seer, it's a permissionless prediction market. So, and their market are curated via Curate. So if you go on the Curate app, you can see the Seer verification market. Each of them has a bounty of around $100. So it's a very good use case. Also, if you want to make some money, if you find some problems into the Seer markets, you can challenge them, and eventually you will be awarded with $100, which is a very good amount in my opinion. In the next few days, we will also launch a dedicated bot for Seer. So as I said before, you can stay up to date with when new markets ask for request a verification. You can immediately check and eventually challenge them. Also, we developed a PGTCR, which now will be called Stay Curate. And these will be launched also in probably within a month with Dam Capital and Juan. We also had a dedicated call about this where you can get all the information about Stay Curate. And we, in the meantime, we are also doing research with non-Web3 use cases, with real-world assets. Probably you know about OpenVino. We shared many times and many research that we did with them. And we are also doing research with other two companies that I cannot mention yet, but they work in the dairy field and in the water treatment field in order to have a curated process and verification of how these drinks are treated, how these liquids are treated. So very basic example for milk, the idea is that when you are at the grocery store that you are buying milk, right now you see that it is verified and you just need to trust the the certification company. With Curate, the verified milk will be certified to be, for example, organic. But if you want, you don't have to trust us. You can go on Curate and you can see how this milk is certified to be organic. So this is something that we'll keep testing and doing research and probably also launching the first lists. So on this note, the future direction of Curate, first related to Scout. As I was mentioning for Block Scout, we already developed a dedicated API, but the objective is to create a unified database for from the COP. And with this database, other projects can use an API, or even single users, even a private user can use an API and fetch information from our database. One important point, our database right now, the information you have on Scout, they are all open source. You can find your way around, you can navigate, you can use them. Actually, we have some projects that use our information and without asking, but this is perfectly fine for us. This is how we envisioned this product. So right now we have this open source model, but we are also developing a unified database so it is easier for third party to fetch this information. And yeah, soon we will also release this, the simplification of the user experience, as we mentioned, and of course, new verticals, because we almost reached, I would say, more than 90% coverage in terms of Block Explorer. So we have open conversation with payment apps, with marketing companies, and also security services to fetch information from Scout database and displaying them, for example, during a transaction, or for security service to display them to make sure that you're interacting with a safe protocol. Back in the bigger picture of Kleros Curate, the main product launch next year will certainly be V2. We will have Atlas improved. So Atlas with improved notification. We will have CEO. We will add more type of fields that you can add in your list, because right now you have the text, you have the image, you can upload file. We will add also list selector, and the list selector is particularly important because it reduces the amount of potential errors when someone is submitting an entry. So stats, there will be a lot of new features also on V2. Stay Curate will be implemented on V2, and same for Scout. Right now is plugged into V1 and it will be plugged into V2. Regarding marketing, also in the introduction, Federico was mentioning this. We have, especially in 2025, we had a lot of cases, both in V1, especially with Curate, but also on V2. with the Lemon integration and with the enterprise integration. So we have a system that is now battle-proof. We want to share more information also for those users that are, let's say, outside of the very specific Web3 circle. So we will invest more into marketing and into promoting our product also to, let's say, less technical audience. This is in the specific case of curation right now, we will target at permissionless platform that, they need moderation. And instead of investing in centralization and moderating with, like an entity within the company, with Curate, you have a fully decentralized moderation. Web3 compliance, probably the most famous case is what we will do with DAM, so blue chip list of low risk DeFi product, and of course the research in real world asset. The last thing that I want to mention is during this presentation, I focused a lot on the user experience. And one point that it's important to underline is that Curate is a permissionless platform too. So everyone can create their own list without asking us about any field you can imagine. Of course, we have some limitation related to, controversial themes, plus 18 and violence. But besides that, Curate is a permissionless platform. So we will focus also on promote the permissional use of this platform, that you just create a list, you launch it, you share it with your friends or in your niche if it's for business use case. So we will also focus on this in next year. So this was it. I want to thank everyone, the user, for contributing. I want to thank the whole team from Federico to all the Kleros Republic team members who made this possible. It was a great year both for Curate and for Kleros, and yeah, very happy to work on this project and look forward to work on all the new news, all the new products that we plan to launch next year. So yeah, this was it from my side.
Great job, Fortunato. So how long have you been with Kleros? Like 1 year, less than 1 year?
Exactly. It's my Kleros versary.
Yeah, today, this month is your Kleros anniversary.
This week is my Kleros versary. Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, we perfectly planned for you to do the presentation exactly this week because we totally knew that. So it's amazing what Fortunato has done with this product. We have we had
Thank you.
idea of curation. I mean, the first time we launched curation, the first application of Kleros was a curation application. Doges on Trial was a curation of a list of Doges that it was like just a test, but it was a curation approach. And then 2019, we launched Tokens app, which was a way to verify tokens that were going to be listed into an exchange and to filter out tokens that didn't comply with the number of conditions, like being Ponzi's or having criminal records in their teams. And the thing I like about curation and certification in general is that it's also a way to avoid disputes. Like, for example, in the curation of Seer markets, if you have a proper curation of prediction markets because they comply with being clear in the resolution criteria or being compliant, this can at some point avoid having to actually go to a dispute which ends up with user frustration, money lost. I mean, we are in the business of making the world a more trusted place and a better place. Not just, we don't want disputes happening for like no reason, just because we want sure to make money. I mean, so curation is a great way. It's very much aligned with some of the trends that happen in the legal industry, which is about dispute avoidance and mediation tools. All of these tools that help avoid,
Compliance.
everything that is compliant related is good. So, and this can, I always tell the story of Butter Chain, which was one of the tokens from the very, very early tokens list. What people submitted this token to be listed into this exchange, and then Kleros detected that it was a fake project with fake people and non-compliant. It was rejected from the Kleros list, but it still was listed in exchanges that didn't, of course, use Kleros to verify tokens. And like 6 months later, we read in the news that there was police in China had arrested the founders of the project because it was a Ponzi. So think of all of the police, and legal battle that could happen, for this Ponzi reason that could have been avoided if this token was just, tagged as a non-compliant and like rejected. So think of that happening in tokens. Think of this in NFTs. Think of all of the disputes that could happen because some NFT represents a piece of art that is, fake, stolen, infringing copyright, whatever. Actually, I did a talk in the HCC about that. I think it was 2023. Then think of situations, real-world assets, when you need to verify if some asset can be tokenized, assuming it complies with some number of conditions. So we have lots and lots and lots of use cases. One thing that makes me also really bullish is that for the first time, I think of one of the first times, we have people doing the fellowship that are actually choosing curation topics for their research. One of the participants for this year is using an approach based on curation to build an app that is focused on detecting fake news on social media, right? So this is something we had experimented in the past with that bot called PTIA a long time ago. Then I explained this use case in a conference we did at Switzerland in Neuchâtel about social networks and content moderation and distributed solution. And one of the use cases I explained is, okay, you can make a curated list of non-fake news, and then you can have people challenge what thing. So, and this particularly this user wants to focus this tool on detecting what images or videos are AI, which it's becoming harder and harder to verify what is an AI. So you could have a curated list approach to this type of problem. So I mean, I think that the opportunities are huge in the field of curation, and yeah, good job for Fortunato in now working on this product and putting it into the right direction. I think you can see this on the metrics that we have just observed. So yeah, good job. Have any other thing before we move to the next topic of the day, the next order of the day of the Santa Claus Republic Day?
No, that was it. Actually, I even took more time than expected, but yeah, and for those listening, I even had to cut many parts from this presentation because, of course, we had a internal review and recap this week. So there was a lot going on this year. We focused a lot on product, and next year you will hear more on the marketing side and how to use it. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Good job. Okay, Jean, what do we have now? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the best I was able to create during the calls. So
yeah, real time, this is live TV. No.
Yes. I think we can go with William, right?
Yes, sir. Hello, William.
William is available here.
Hey, everybody.
How are you, William?
I'm good. Good.
Thanks. Well, tell us a bit what happened in 2025 and what's coming in next year research-wise. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of what I'm excited about for next year, I'm excited to finally see a lot of the research that I've been doing for the past years take shape and be developed. In that, like, the development up to this point for V2 has been mostly for feature parity with V1. There's this like modular skeleton which has been created where you can like add new kinds of logic, new voting systems, new payment functions, like new social mechanisms around SPTs. But for the moment, we haven't really plugged many new modules in yet. The code that's being audited now is has this architecture, but it like has most of the dispute kits which are already available are related to what we had with the V1. So I'm really looking forward to see like all this research we've been doing for years on like different voting systems adapted for different kinds of situations finally be available for people to really use. In 2025, I did a lot of research around different kinds of special cases that need different kinds of logic. I did a lot of thinking about SPTs and how they can be used in like juror selection for types of use cases that require, extra guarantees that people have certain kinds of expertise. I thought a lot about peer prediction. I gave a talk about that at ECC, which I invite people to check out. And that's for certain cases where there's a strong imbalance between the sort of categories that like win regularly. For example, imagine you have like cases between a business and like an employee or a client, and you as an observer can see that the business is winning, 95% of the time because they're really professional. They have lots of good lawyers. They usually only go to dispute if they think that they're right. We have cases like this. This is like frequently the case with the Kleros enterprise use cases. How do you design the system so that people are not incentivized to just always vote for the business? How can we have like good resistance against what we call lazy strategies, where people just always sort of vote the same way, or people vote in a way that doesn't use effort to review in detail the case, that are as user-friendly as possible. So we're thinking about like how to build on sort of the research we've done to make the sort of best user experience around those kinds of cases. So I'm looking forward to those modules being developed. Still thinking about lots of social choice questions, things that can be developed into future modules. One of the great things about V2 is that we can continue to do research and develop better and better modules to do new kinds of logics that we haven't even come up with yet, but it will be able to fit into the skeleton that we've built.
Yeah, we have also been working with William. So as I mentioned, the smart contracts are being audited now. Many of the discussions with the auditors are about, obviously one part of this is a smart contracts, bugs and all that, which is more like a computer science thing. But also there is situations where the auditors need to understand what is the economic logic or the business logic, or sometimes even the moral logic about why a decision is made, why a smart contract works in such way, and why tokens are distributed in such way because of what equity imperative is at play. So this is quite complex, and some of the discussions that have been had during the certification of the audit process were about that. Also mentioning, it's worth mentioning that we have been working together lots on the use of AI in the context of Kleros, because of, the solution in the future will have a strong component of AI. So we will have probably course made with AI agents. Then this can escalate to human courts. Lots of the type of research we do is about this. We wrote a chapter together also with Rob that's going to be published at Wolters Kluwer. I would say very soon. Because it's already done, about Kleros and decentralized justice systems in general and AI, and how AI can be used in different stages. So for preparing disputes, for solving disputes, and then we are also going to work a bit on Kleros for decentralized finance. We also were asked to write a chapter about that. So we already have lots of great things going on for next year with William, and that I'm really excited about. Anything else, William?
Yeah, not really. As you were sort of alluding to there, I'm also impressed by how deeply the auditors are delving into the like economic logic of Kleros. Anticipating, can you do this kind of economic attack? Like, what are the like really getting into the kinds of problems that I spend a lot of time thinking about. So it's good to have people that are independently thinking of these problems and seeing if they come to the same conclusions, different conclusions, and engage with this material.
William, what does it look like? Christmas in Canada. I mean, that must be like the perfect stereotype of winter Christmas, because for us in the southern hemisphere it's the summer. I mean, for you it's going out, see Christmas trees, pines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in a good year, like the depth of winter, like where you get the most snow, is usually like January and February. So like, if our like winter holiday were in the middle of January or something, you could really count on having like lots of snow. Here, if like a good snowy Christmas is not every year, but it's fun when it happens.
I'm assuming you are going everywhere with sleigh and the reindeers, right? This time of the year.
Not the plan, but that is a transportation that is available, in places in Canada.
Awesome. Thank you, William, and Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Merry Christmas.
Okay, Jean, I guess, our experience of Christmas is really not the same, as they will have in the Northern Hemisphere, especially Canada. I mean, it's like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Canada. This is the real Christmas,
I had a few Christmas in Colorado, in the US, and it's amazing. The snow, because in Colorado, it's full of snow, and it's amazing.
I only watch Christmas movies. I know I won't have snow in the Christmas. So.
Yes, having Christmas with snow.
That's how we cope in Latin America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, yeah, Marcos, please go ahead.
Yeah, from my side, I'm gonna try to be quick. 3 main updates from Kleros Enterprise. In first place, the inbound strategy that I think Fortunato already mentioned, but it's a new strategy that we are starting with the Kleros Enterprise team. Then we received a new case from Lemon, so it's going to be created most probably this week in our courts. And the third point is that we continue working with the consumer protection government, let's say, in Argentina. These are like internal steps that we are doing, but things are going on, and we will keep you updated as soon as we have something to mention in public. But everything is good. Those are the main updates for myself.
Something very cool that happened in 2025. I mean, it happened before, but that this is like really strong now, is that regulators are starting to consider Kleros in the context of adapting regulation to technology. Happened in Mexico. The Congress included Kleros into the new ways of dispute resolution mechanisms in 2024. It was enacted. I think it's January 2024. Then, the Consumer Protection Agency from Argentina also listening to us as a valid stakeholder. Not when I have the Santa Claus hat, but in more normal situations. As a serious interlocutor with which to co-create, I would say, the new rules for dispute resolution, more adapted to new technologies. So this is something I expect that will be happening more and more as we can start replicating some mechanisms that are ongoing, and that some mechanisms that were not possible before because of lacking some tools like soulbound tokens, and way to select the jurors in a more sophisticated way to verify that they had some skills or they belong to some community. All of these things are kind of converging into making Kleros more compliant with lots of regulations from different countries. So, I mean, this is something that I imagine is going to be accelerating since next year. Okay, so anything else, Marcos?
No, those are the main updates. I think Fortunato already mentioned some of the main updates from Enterprise during the year, so that's it.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, Jean. Well, you're the last one for this, and then we will have. So the next community call will be on January, because next week's people are on vacation. Also, it's 24. So yeah, you have the honors of doing the last update. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we have. Well, we have sent the rewards for in the beginning of the month. And now the jury rewards are around 25% on Ethereum and 30% on Gnosis chain. So if you don't have your PNK staked, you are losing PNK basically, because you are losing the opportunity to get more PNK and getting cases. As Fortunato said, one of the courts that has more activity is the curation court, so on Gnosis chain. So that's like the main recommendation. And where else? I think these are the main things that we already talked about. But I really recommend following the Kleros page on LinkedIn and the Kleros Enterprise one, because we'll be growing this audience, because that's where our main contacts are now. So of course we will continue posting on X and the content that you already like, but we will be growing our corporate side.
That is exactly the right way, the strategy to grow the corporate use cases and institutional use cases. That is why,
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to enjoy these parts while they can, because we will have Federico wearing a suit.
Yeah. Just this is
so.
This is probably the last time you see me with a Santa Claus hat, because starting January 1st, it's enterprise, corporate business suit, like a suitcase. Yeah. So, well, I guess it was a year of many things for us. Things were lots of the things converging into what is going to come next year, which is going to be the result of a lot of work from William into putting a lot of effort into the research of new dispute kits that enable new use cases, or use cases that involve many of them enterprise use cases for insurance, for fintech, for something for government. We are also discussing with travel industries, travel companies like airlines. We are in discussions with e-commerce companies. So a lot of things that were we wanted to do over the years. Now with this launch of the new version, which is better for lots of use cases, and it's also cheaper because it's built on L2. And not only, it's not just a technological thing, it's also a situation where Kleros, like as a brand, has lots more credibility and legitimacy to be acceptable as a way to resolve disputes. This is a very conservative industry. This is a place where people need to really trust the process they will use. So there's not that you can just come, hey, we brought this new tool to solve disputes. No, it will take you a decade of convincing people and producing legitimacy. I think we are getting there. I mean, because of all of the things, I'm not going to repeat, because I already explained all this last week in the State of the Union call. So yeah, I mean, it's really bullish. It's a really bullish moment for us, and also it's a moment where I think all of the Ethereum ecosystem is also kind of pivoting into a direction where we actually went way before. So kind of everything seems to be aligning really well. Yeah. I don't know, Jean, anything else? Any final message we should give? I mean, besides, you never have enough PNK, of course, but
yeah, I think I'm very excited, like personally, about the, as you said and William said, about the use of AI agents with Kleros. I think there's lots of people talking about that, and one of the things that lots of projects don't think about are the incentives, and this is something that we have been studying for years now. And
Almost
it
10
will be-
years.
yes. So and they don't need to start from scratch. They can just integrate that infrastructure into Kleros, and it will work. So I'm very excited that now it's like the barrier to make that work is getting lower every day. Maybe in 2 months we'll be able to run an agent with a comment on ChatGPT and things like that. So I think it will be like a very moved year because of that and many other things that we have been working on, and we will be finally launching. So yeah, super excited.
Okay, well, guys, then as your Santa Claus in chief, I will just declare close this year in community calls. We will see again in January. Early January, we'll have our next community call. I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully you can spend this with your loved ones. And so from us, I mean, thank you for the loyalty all of this year, and see you in 2026. Bye-bye, guys. See you.
Bye, everyone.